about love in so long. Love, love, don't fall in love. Love. Think I need to love myself. Think she needs to love herself. Yes, I need to love myself. Oh, she needs to love herself. Love herself. Love, don't fall in love.
Well, hello and welcome to the Empowering Humans podcast. That song you were just listening to is from a good friend of mine, an artist, a big dude. The Next Thing, I am telling you, I love his music. Please welcome Rob Linx and introduce yourself.
Well, yeah, Rob Linx, as he said, I could not have asked for a better introduction. I'm a local pop artist. I would say I wouldn't just put myself as pop, really a hybrid, but I'm just working on breaking out right now. I'm doing really well in terms of, I got a big single called Fool, which is at around 155,000 right now. So people are really starting to attract to it. I got an album on the way that I'm hyped to talk about. And yeah.
And you know what? And you bring something up that I'm actually, when I listen to your stuff, because that's how I found you. Well, I was scrolling and I see you singing. I'm like, who is this dude? Why? Because your voice is powerful. You know, you could tell there's something coming out of you every time you're singing.
Thank you. Yeah, that means a lot.
But it's different, right? And it's not hip hop. It's like a new thing. And I asked you, I'm like, what is your genre? You said, I am my own genre. So how did you come up with that? Like, what made you go into that?
So initially, I always loved hip hop, rap. J. Cole was my favorite artist. Drake was always one of my favorite artists. Kendrick, I loved lyricism, lyrics. That's all that mattered to me. So for hours on end, I'm writing all these different bars that I'm coming up with my phone, making these little songs. I didn't really know what I was doing. It'd be a verse straight through, no hook, nothing, you feel me? But I loved it. I started freestyling. I was nice at freestyling too. I always had a knack for it. So in our friend group, they were always damn, yeah, you actually nice, bro.
You doing something.
And so that just grew into a love for rap. And once I got around to recording, shout out to $sign Seti. He's the one who initially got me into the studio. I started rapping, figuring out my own sound. And it was my second or third session that he didn't show up to, and I didn't know what was going on, you feel me? So I'm sitting there do I even go in right now? What do I do? And I was you know what? I got this one song, let me try it out. And it was a song where I was singing. Cause I kind of have I don't sit here and say I'm Brent Faiyaz, Bruno Mars singer, but I know how to you know what I'm saying, make my voice work, and just, turn it into a good sound, really. But yeah, so I went and kind of tried to sing, and it was kind of yo, this is fire. I'm showing my boys, they're yo, you sound like Post Malone, dog. You fire. And so it was kind of it gravitated me more to oh, let me try being a little more melodic with what I'm doing. And it was melodic rap for a while. And it wasn't actually until, with my management team right now, the first session I ever had at his, studio, which there's a lot of story in between that, but he invited me to come record at his house for just off the love for the first time without even really hearing much of my music. And then that's where I went and recorded Fool, that very first single, the single that's very big right now. And he fell in love with Fool almost immediately. His wife as well. She's nagging him. Another artist in the label at the time was nagging him. Shout out my brother SFN. And he had a couple artists at the time, so he was oh, I don't know, da-da-da, and they're just, one side is telling him this, the other side is telling him, yo, you gotta sign this kid. And I think it was a mix of oh, seeing the talent, a little bit of frustration too. He was yo, okay, start recording here more, I wanna hear some more of your demos, just on the third. And it really transitioned my whole style, because Full was a big step away from what I was normally doing with the rap.
Started singing.
Yes, it was much more Full. I can't even describe what kind of song it is. People would probably class it as rock, pop, little folk, maybe a little bit of country. And this is just what I've heard from different people. I can't even say myself what it is, but it was definitely a much different style than what I had been doing. And I think that gave me the courage to, with what this album is going to be, explore a little bit and see like where my creativity could really take me, try out things I've never done before in the background of my music, all these different vocal notes that I would always just, you know what I'm saying, not be brave enough to do myself because, I don't want to mess up. Like, you feel me? I don't want to be like whack, but you kind of gotta, absolutely. And you gotta kind of have some like, not every song is a hit, you feel me? So I definitely got some whack songs in the vault, to be honest with you.
Don't say that.
But I promise you everything I'm delivering is going to be beautiful, perfect. The album is going to be amazing.
I imagine, I'm going to tell you what caught my attention. Now, anyone and everyone who knows me knows that I love music. I mean, sometimes I'm always pumping my music. At work, I have to. And what I look for in the music that I like music from any genre, is passion. When you can see that the person is saying something, they feeling it. They're not just, and that's what I got from you. And for me, that's what makes you different from everyone I see on social media, that when it's like it's coming, you're saying something, you're saying a story, you're saying your experience. It's passion.
A lot of it is like I'm very genuine and honest in my music, and I feel like pain and struggle with yourself, struggle with love, a lot of stuff like that. Most people can relate to. Not too many people can relate to. I got this, I got that. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff. My music is very clean. I don't even really curse too much in my music.
At all.
Because
I don't mean at all.
Not yet. Like maybe once or twice, but there's like most of the album, there's no cursing at all. And so it's not like, I was carefully like, make sure you don't curse here. But it kind of gave me more of a challenge, if anything, can I make this just as fire without cursing, make it something that could have not just like more local outreach radio, but like global outreach and messages that a lot of people can connect with, you know what I'm saying? I got people from Spain in my DM, Poland, like languages I don't even understand. Like I'm Google translating just to respond back to them. Like,
I've never, it's like listening to Spanish music when you don't know Spanish, you still feel
feeling, and that's what's so important.
So let me ask you this. How old were you when you first realized that music is your thing?
I think I was about 19 years old when I remember one specific night where I was I was like alone, freestyling. I don't know. I had some sort of bad day. I didn't know what it was. I couldn't like tell you if I had to, but I just remember like right then and there, like, I'm gifted. So why am I wasting this gift? Like I was very unsure of myself at the time. I didn't know what I wanted out of life, what I wanted to do in college even. And so I was just very lost. And all I knew is I had this one knack for something. And I didn't know how far it would really take me until around a year and a half later, I actually got brave and entered like that music life, the studio, like just exposed myself pretty much. You feel me? I'm going behind a mic to people I don't even know and trying to be fire. You feel me? And I don't know the first thing about recording. I don't know about doing my background vocals, like how, like when I start, it's not going to be the same as like when it comes out to some songs because of the note that it's in. And this is very like complex, so I won't dive into it too much, but I don't sound good in every note in music, but the notes that I do sound good in, I could go one take Jake, like sound great on the track. One of my songs out right now, Paradise, is one of those tracks where I literally did the whole main vocals all the way through. Like took me 5 minutes and then spent the rest of like the 40 minutes I had left in the session, just backgrounds, everything. But
so that is your strength in the singing. Yeah. So how do you find that? So there's a lot of people with talent. But it's like you're saying that you have to know your strength and where you are good. So how do you find that?
Can I curse?
I could take it out.
Okay, I'll just mute myself, but it's a lot of effing around and finding out. You feel me? That's like really what it is.
A lot of failure.
A lot of failure, bro. A lot. I could show you like a song and you'd be like, I can show you a song right now and you'd be like, bro, this is not you. You feel me? Like, bro, I'm talking like, yo, I used to love, let me preface this with, I still really do enjoy drill music, but Sleepy Hollow and Chef G were my guys. So I was going in there trying to make music like them when, I ain't gonna lie, it's not me, you feel me? And I was saucy, like had the melodic sound, but I just was not, I was making music that wasn't me, was not me. And so I really found the lane that was mine, which was very important. It's good to know what kind of artist you want to be, I would say. It's good to be brave and be bold, but understand what makes sense too. And from that on, just find a sound that you really like and build off of that. Don't get afraid to experiment. And from there, like, don't get afraid to experiment with other sounds too. But it's just about constantly growing and learning. Like, I'm a couple years into it now. I know like the basic recording process. And bro, I promise you, I still don't know nothing, bro. Like, yeah. Nothing.
But you're doing really good. But I like something that you said, and it's good for young folks that are listening to you, anybody that's getting into the failure part of it. You know, and it's in everything you do. You have to learn how to fail in order to succeed, because you have to learn how to take that failure and learn from it. That's what you did.
All I could.
This is not my lane. Let's go try another one. Instead of wasting time trying to fit into what you're not. So that's good. That's good for anybody listening.
Absolutely, because it can be applied in all facets. Some people are just more inclined to certain things than others. And it's not to say anyone is better than someone else, but someone could be better than you at something else because they're meant for it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, that's something you have to learn you can't be upset at things you can't control.
That's right.
So just get really, really good at, the things you can control, I guess, to a certain extent. There's a lot to that, and that might not entirely make sense. But it's the message. The message is in there.
And, you know, it was Mr. Churchill said that courage is the ability to go from failure to failure without ever losing enthusiasm. So it's just that in everything. If you're able to get back up and do it again and take from what you learned, you're going to succeed. You're succeeding. You should be proud of yourself. Are you proud of yourself?
I'm proud of where I've gotten. We've had a couple conversations off cameras too. I'm proud of where I've gotten, but I'm so hungry for this. Like, I can't be fully satisfied until I reach that goal that I have. And maybe it's a certain like sense of anxiety driving me, or like, oh, like I just need to be there. But it's also where I view myself in terms of like my music and just where I love it. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I love more than this. Like, God and my family, but this music is really like, you know what I'm saying? It's got a hold on me. And so I'm going to do everything I can to make it work.
Good. And that's, you got to do what you love. Once you do what you love, you'll never work again. Right? You'll never feel like you're working again. And I know you're doing good. I hear your stuff and I love it. I love everything you do. So what would you tell a young kid or a young man that found out he has a voice, right? He, just like you discovered your voice, which is powerful within itself. What would you tell him or her or them to start doing now to get there?
Definitely say as soon as possible, either learn how to engineer yourself or find an engineer that you really like. Get comfortable with recording, learn like the different processes of recording. Find a mentor. I think that's a big part of it. Yes. A huge part of it for me was I didn't know nothing going in. So I really relied on a lot of my friends to like, yo, like, kind of got to do this. This is how it goes. The engineer is kind of a mentor in a sense, like, oh, this is how we do it. You're supposed to do these takes. Yeah. And then these takes is how like you probably record. And then being around other artists, I hear what they do in their songs, whether it was in the backgrounds, whether it's like different stacks they're doing, just stuff I had never even thought of doing before, you feel me? Because I didn't know you could do stuff like that. And it really just expands your mind, makes you more creative in what you're doing. So find that engineer first and foremost. Be brave in the studio, be consistent in the studio, and just make music you like. You know what I'm saying? Don't make music to impress people. I listen to my songs more than I listen to any artist on the radio. I promise you that. Yeah. I promise you that.
And I believe in that, man. I'm telling you, as a speaker, I used to like look at other speakers to learn from. I stopped doing that. I just listen to myself, because what it does, it muddies the way you start to emulate them, and it's not you. So yeah, I like that. So let me ask you a question. A lot of singers that I do know, I say a lot, I don't know many, but the people that I do know, sometimes that passion, mine does, comes from a place of pain. Is there anything that you can share that maybe?
Absolutely. I would definitely say, first off, it was a lot of internal struggle myself. I think for a long time, even back to when I was a kid, I didn't really fully love myself, and I don't want to like point fingers at anybody, because at the end of the day, that's on you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that's super hard to battle back from. Being in a depressed state, just some anxiety where you feel low, it's super. And I give kudos to people who open up about it, share about it, fight with it daily, because you could have a great week and then all of a sudden it could just hit you like a wave uncontrollably. And it's like,
life don't play.
I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to do anything at all. But that's when having something like this, just like a goal that I like, non-negotiable goal with myself, deal, it really plays into effect, because no matter how I'm feeling, I gotta do it. I gotta do what I gotta do, because
And it makes you feel good every
makes
time
me
you
feel
do it.
really good. So I think what I would say to anybody feeling like that is find some way to work it off, whether it's working out, whether it's doing what you love, passion of yours. And yeah, and I know it's not the easiest thing to just do this, but there's ways you can help yourself, you know?
But once you find that thing that takes you out of that dark place, I mean, it opens a whole new world for you. So that's good. So you're saying the singing kind of got you there.
The music was a huge part, because there was a long time where I feel like I didn't even understand that I was depressed, because I was constantly distracting myself, whether it was partying with my fraternity, going out with my friends, avoiding what I needed to take care of. And then I got to a point where I had that who am I moment. What am I? Like, what will I be? And it was a wake-up call. And that's really like shortly after this when the music started. Weeks after, actually.
You see, that's what I hear. So that when I hear you sing, I hear something coming out. And you mentioned before that you don't know if it's anxiousness to get there. That's what it is. You don't want to go back. So you're fighting. You're fighting really hard to get what you want. And you're fighting not to face whatever you were facing before. And that's key, because once you decide to fight, it comes. It comes. So your future is bright. And anyone hearing, I want you to understand what he just said. He did not sit down and wait for depression to go away, because it's not going to go away.
Never does.
It gets worse.
Never does.
So he did something about it. He found something he loved. He found something he's passionate about, and he started fighting. And now look at you. You should have seen. He came in here with cameraman. Like, I'm telling you, they were directing me. They're like, have a seat. I'm like, okay. Give me a second. I'm not ready. So that tells you, he's building himself to where he wants to be. So what do you think is a good strategy for other people to start building themselves in anything?
Step one, non-negotiable, is what do you want that thing to be?
Targets.
You have to understand what that thing is. You have to visualize it. You have to dream about it every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just something you want in the moment. It's something you want forever.
That's right.
Even like there's times I don't want to go record. It's like, what else do I want out of this life besides to be able to get paid for this? You feel me? Nah, I'm not rescheduling no session. Let's go do it. The second step is just consistently. It's not, I have to get there as fast as I can, but it's every day breaking down a little bit of this giant like wall, brick by brick, to, today I'm going to do this. That's going to help me get to my goal. Tomorrow I'm going to do this, and that's going to build off yesterday. Nice. And it's just step by step. And every time you fall down and get knocked down, you got to figure out how can you get back up as fast as possible. That's the only time I say speed is required in terms of just getting back up. Other than that, though, there's no quick fix for everything. That's why people will say you, 30-day abs, 60 days, you'll be rich. You feel me? It's all BS, bro. It's like, bro, you got to change your lifestyle and your mental.
Right. That's right. And I like what you said, brick by brick, inch by inch. Les Brown once said that inch by inch is a cinch, but by the yard, it's hard. So if you're able to do what you're doing, it works. It's a recipe that works each and every time. So kudos to you. I'm so happy for you. I'm proud of you. I keep telling you, I'm very proud of you. Do you want to say where you came from?
I shout out the hometown. I grew up in a nice city, I would say. I was originally born in Montreal, Canada. My parents are Romanian immigrants. And
you're Canadian?
Yeah.
What? I just learned
that's crazy.
that.
Yeah. I didn't know you knew that.
I didn't know.
So I was born in Canada. I have dual citizenship, actually.
Nice.
Born in Montreal. Shout out the Jays. Shout out the Raptors.
Shout out.
And then I came down. Raptors actually just made a crazy trade today. I came down when I was like 1 year old or 2 years old with my pops. It was either California or Florida, and he chose Florida. And I'm sorry if you live in California, but thank God he chose Florida. Chose Florida. And I grew up in Coral Springs. At first, we lived in these apartments, and I don't want to say it was like in the hood, but it was all right, adjacent. Yeah, it was adjacent for sure.
We were in the neighborhood.
I was too young to realize it at the time too, so I really couldn't like tell you. But once I was around like 6 years old, my pops bought a house in Coral Springs, which is a beautiful little city. I wouldn't say it's like
I know. Yeah, it's a nice place.
It feels safe and it feels like a family city.
Yeah.
You feel me? So definitely grateful that my pops, like he worked his whole life to be able to do something like that. So much kudos and shout out to him. My pops and my mother. Shout out to both of them actually. They both worked hard for it.
Mommy,
And so,
good job. You got to give a shout out.
And so I'm grateful. I grew up in Coral Springs, which is in Broward County. The same county as Kodak, one of my favorite. He's top 3 of my artists today, honestly. Love Kodak.
I love you. Shout out
Kodak. Shout out Lamar Jackson. I'm a Fence fan though. We played this week, but so Broward's MVP Lamar Jackson. I gotta show love. And yeah, it's really that's where I have my my come up in terms of freestyling with all my boys back in the day, the music I listened to.
Yeah,
Kodak was definitely a big influence, which is kind of crazy if you listen to my music, but his lyricism is top tier. I don't care what anybody says. And so, yeah,
shout out. He's so funny, bro. I love watching him interacting these interviews.
Dude, he is one of a kind, bro. I love Kodak.
I'm telling you. So, who or what inspires you?
I would say I would definitely say it's my family has gone through a lot, even now, and I won't get too much into the details of it, but life is hard, you know what I'm saying? And to be able to leave a country where, and I'm not saying it's like this nowadays by any means, but back when they lived there was communism and oppression, and they escaped that for like kids they didn't even have yet, like the future generations. Romania.
Oh,
Romania.
Damn, they genius.
I like Romania. I gone back, but at the time, just from what I know, this is like my knowledge from them. It just was not. It was not a right. The government controlled everything. They didn't have freedom, essentially. Got it. And so, just like doing all this and that, just to escape for like future generations they ain't even have yet, is something crazy. So I'm super motivated by my parents, just because I really like. I want to give my mom the world, you feel me, and my dad. Like I want to make sure that they're all right because of how much they've already sacrificed in their lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they didn't have to, right? They could have just stayed there, but they were thinking about that legacy. They wanted to make sure they gave their kids something bigger than they had. So it's beautiful. It's really a beautiful story. When people migrate here, I look up to them. I couldn't do what some of these people do. Like, come over here in a new country and battle it out. And look, it succeeded. Their plan worked. So that's probably where you have a strong head on your shoulders, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely say they taught me right from wrong at a very early age. And so I always carried that with me. And it's all black and white. There's no really right or wrong.
Of course.
But in terms of, I believe I have very good morals. I'm a person of good morals, I would say. I don't know if that's how you say it, but yeah, that's beautiful. And so that's, you know what I'm saying. I treat others how I like to be treated, and a bunch of little things like that. But I'm also, I would say I get a lot of my kindness and my social ability from my mother, and then my dad is a lot of critical thinking, but also like, you know what I'm saying, being very like tedious when it comes to what I want to do, even though my dad's a computer engineer. He don't know
really?
He don't know the first thing about rapping and nothing.
At all.
Music.
That's like
I'm telling him I'm doing good. He's like, hey, you're doing good. You're doing good. Okay.
Oh. Okay. But that's what he did good. He doesn't need to know. What he knows is that he knows you, and he knows you have talent, and if you're doing something, he's supporting you. So that's really beautiful. So what should people stay away from when it comes to music, when it comes to someone trying to get into business? Okay,
so I would definitely say don't sign anything that you do not, and I'm not saying this for myself. I'm in a great situation, but this happens to a lot of artists from the jump, and I've always been very careful with this. Make sure you understand what you're reading, because there's a lot of little devils in the details. I won't get too much into it. I don't even know how much I could talk about it, but I spent a couple months just making sure paperwork was right for this next step of my journey, which isn't like not super excited for. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get management deals when they're unreleased, you know what I'm saying? But I have trust for the people, but it's just about, even though shout out to, they might not even, you know what I'm saying, be fully aware of that. They're taking it from their lawyer. They're taking it from the lawyers. You know what I'm saying? So just make sure you read the contract. But I stay away from distraction. Even though I only had like, I got a management deal with people that like are associated in the industry, but I let me getting management be like, oh, I made it. And I started just partying ridiculously, going out, like just not focused. I could have been constantly like building off content the way I do now, working, just doing a lot of stuff that I couldn't do because of distractions, going out, drinking, girls, like a lot of stuff. And so
which comes with the idea of being
absolutely,
a musician.
I felt like, yo, I was like a local celebrity at the bars, like barely any music release, you feel me? I got managers like, yo, like, what's up, you want a shot? I got these girls like, oh, can I be in your video? I'm like, yo.
Then you go on a
I'm
totally
like,
different road.
Nah, cause like they really rocked on my shit, you feel me? Like the frat, I'm just sending my music. They have, bro, there's probably so many people that have my MP3 files, like
you ever
my old stuff.
think about it like that?
Never again, like, am I sending out? But before I had any sort of representation, that's how I'm putting myself on, you feel me? Convincing people on fire, like, and like, not convincing people on fire, but like, you know what I'm saying?
I gotta selling your talent. You were
at
selling
first,
your
like,
stuff.
some people, they're like, man, I don't want to hear that shit, dog. You feel me? Like, and these are my dogs too, but it's like, nah, but like, it really, like, I got like a great support from brothers in my fraternity, a lot of just friends out locally, which they carry my social media nowadays. So shout out to them. They have got me in a crazy point in social media. Constant interactions. Now I'm at like 3 million views on my Instagram in the past year, and 2.5 million in the last 90 days, which is crazy. But
wait, how does it? Okay, so how does that feel? Like when you're seeing this growth all of a sudden,
so,
what changes within you, or what? Because that's hard,
at
right?
first, once I started getting like more views on my reels, I was like itching, bro. Like every single time I post, I'm refreshing. I'm like calculating. I got on my notes like, this day I got this many views. This day I got this many views now. Oh my God, I'm projected to get 10 million, bro. Like, you feel me? I'm losing my mind over here. And then it got to a point where don't get me wrong, the views to be consistent is huge. Social media is a very big tool. But it don't really mean anything that I got the 3 million views if I don't got 3 million people at my show, streaming my song, you feel me? But it definitely helps connect you with authentic fans.
Of course.
And all those views are just like to build on top of like a fan base that I already like am starting to establish a little bit. Now I have like people like, before it was just like people I knew and like my friends. Now I have people following me strictly for the music, whether it's actual fans, engineers, other artists. So that's my social media, how seriously I take social media has definitely changed in terms of like constantly being on it. But now that I've gotten these numbers that I wanted for so long, it's kind of like, numbers don't really matter until you know what I'm saying? Until I'm making like sponsorship deals, you know what I'm saying?
In business, I do a lot of business consulting. That is one of the hardest things to get through the entrepreneur that I'm working with. They worry about the views. So if they don't think they're gonna get views, they won't post or they won't put it, and they're not understanding that's not what's important. What's important is using that social media as a tool.
I got a water here.
Yeah, of course. Well, you rob. What do you mean? It's the Linx. We have to have water. So that's an important point that it's a tool. It's a tool. Use the tool. And that's exactly what it is. So yeah, this is I don't know. I'm excited for you, right? We've met a couple of times, and every time that I see you, I can see that you're really going somewhere. Like you're focused. You're laser focused. So what do you see in the future for you?
Well, and this might be a crazy expectation to put on my first album, but this album is the work of like 2.5, close to 3 years of just like being in the studio, really developing my sound and like really like picking out like, yo, these are the ones. I think this album has major potential. Like I'm talking platinum, bro. Nice. Like that sounds crazy for someone that's not there yet.
Why? Yeah,
but like this album is not out yet, and that's just the way I have it in my mind. I'm setting up the right situation with my team right now. I got a team that believes in me, which is, I think, is one of the most important steps of all, having a team behind you. You can do it independent. Social media has helped that out a lot. But to get where I want to get, the level I want to get, and to be consistent for a long time, I think it takes a team, which is just, I'm really excited to go into this next phase. And that's my goal, my expectation. I want this album to be huge. And from there, this whole next year is about following up with some singles, maybe getting a big feature with a premier artist. We'll see. I've been kind of wanting to feature with like a girl. I don't have any songs with a girl, so I think we can make something crazy. So it's just about finding the right person for all of it. But to sum up all of that up, I would say pushing the album a lot. The album being big and kind of being like the industry is like, yo, this is Rob Linx, he fire, like kind of putting my foot in the door, and big features.
Yeah, that's big. Now, I like I said, I watch your stuff, so I look at your videos. You put a lot of like passion into the video.
Absolutely.
I think there's one that I've watched 500 times, so a lot of the views probably are mine now. I think it's the beach. You think you're in the beach or in the water?
Oh yeah.
That was cool. That you're like, I'm like,
that one's super fire.
I felt that song. I felt it because of that. So that's good imagery.
When we first, you know, it's so funny. From that shot, this was way back in the summer. Shout out my manager. He paid for the whole shoot at the time.
Nice.
And shout out Danny Stills, I want to say, is on Instagram. Daniel Infante, my dog. I've known him since we were little kids. He really put a lot of vision behind a lot of the shots that we got that day. That shot specifically, I had my phone because the waves are crashing super loud, so you can't really hear. Like, if he's like, he can't hold the phone because he's got to have two hands on the camera. We're in the ocean, dog. And bro, I'm standing in the ocean. It's dark. I'm not comfortable. First off, I'm like, if something touches me, we out, bro. We're not getting this shot.
Whose idea was it? Like,
and then it was his idea from the jump. And then I'm playing, like, I'm trying not to have my phone too obvious, but I need to hear it, so because I can't just lip sync. It's not gonna line up, bro. I've tried it before, and it's just way off. I need to hear it like right at the same time, and so I'm like holding my phone, just like trying to be like not too obvious. Bro, I can show you the clip. Splashes my phone. To this day, my phone, I still have to like, I take the charger and I go like this. Like,
no.
I unplug it from the box. I flip how it's plugged in, plug it in, flip the box itself, plug it in, and then flip it 3 or 4 times on my phone. Then I got an emergency override to do like the
when it
charge.
says it's
bro.
You know what's fun? That's the first thing I thought. What if he drops his phone? But it was a great shot. That was a great idea. I think it shows like the imagery of what you're feeling at the moment. You're like in the middle of the water. I'm like, yo, that shot was good. So I just have to tell you, I watched that one a lot of times. So anything else that you want to share with your audience specifically that you got to tell them, because connection is, you know, that you're a singer. Connection is everything. So what do you want to tell them so they can
first of all, thank you so much, everybody who's been reposting, commenting, interacting, showing love, streaming. I wouldn't be nowhere without all the people supporting me right now, and the people from the jump who supported me, gave me the confidence to get to this point. Y'all should be expecting a crazy album. I know I've been promoting it for months, and because I know how much it's gonna pop, and so I need to do this right. But I'm eternally grateful, and I promise you guys, this is all going to pay off. We are on the way.
Yeah, like stay tuned.
Like stay tuned for
real.
And
which song is your favorite from that album? Like if you had to choose.
That is a tough decision. Super tough decision.
No, it's a tough interview. No, I'm gonna play.
So I got a lot of songs. Yeah, I feel like it changes with time. For a long time, I would say Love Note was my favorite song on the album. Okay. It was the lyrics, the instrumental. Shout out Smith Beats who produced the beat. Just everything about the song, the sound. I loved it so much. I showed it to people. They're like, oh my goodness, like crazy, unbelievable song. But now it's kind of a tie between 2 different songs. The first being, I don't know the name of it yet. I think it's called Demons in My Mind, if not just Demons. But Demons in My Mind, I have like one clip or 2 clips in my mind. It's actually the last time we were here, it was a song I showed you.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah,
so I really like that song.
That one for sure.
It touches.
That one, just the lyrics behind it, everything behind it, it's a lot. One of the first songs I wrote without hearing an instrumental, just straight up like, almost like poetry, just writing it down.
It was.
And then right up there with it, I would say Love Myself is really it's the one where we're doing the introduction clip.
Got it. The one that you see in the intro.
But yeah, that song is just everything I'm doing in the backgrounds, how it feels at the end. It just feels so powerful. I've been listening to it on repeat lately. And then I could go on. I could talk about these songs for days.
I was like, what's one favorite? We're in the 10th already. I got it. You love your stuff. Got it. So when does the album come out?
Figuring that out as we speak. I was initially going to release it in September. My initial goal was to get like 75,000 total views on all the reels I posted from that first shoot. and then one of them from that shoot got 700,000.
No way.
And so from there, I was like,
is that how you
like,
pick what you go by? Like you feel that energy?
It helps, and that song specifically is probably gonna be what I release. It's a part of the album, but it'll be a single I released before the album, Happier With You. But it got 700,000 views, and I was like, dang, like,
yeah,
10x my goal, like, you feel me? And so now I'm like, yo, like, where do I go from here? My goal was to get to 2 million before the album, and then there's also a lot to figure out with like I said, the contract situation earlier before. I got a great team behind me, but there's a lot like in the legalities of it. Like it makes sense for both of us to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. He's done a lot for me. I'll just put it at that, and I owe it to him at this point.
And so what you're saying, there is a business side of it that people gotta pay attention to.
There absolutely is a business side of it. Because at the end of the day, like, I could take everything he's done for me and up and walk out, but A, that's not who I am, and B, like, I believe in what he's doing. I appreciate what he's done for me, and I'm excited to continue with him.
You're following your instinct. Do you
exactly
know this
that.
Is it?
It's just a gut feeling. And so you gotta trust who you're around
and believe. You have to. You already invested all this time, and you're there.
And he's invested time. You know what I'm saying? Money, like, there's a lot to it. So.
How about live concert? When are we gonna see you live? Like, you got that in the works?
So I had and it's somewhat in the works. It wouldn't really be a Rob Linx concert. The goal right now is to open up for like a really major act on the road. But I will say, I did have a show in Orlando about 2 years ago before I even got into that pop style as my melodic rap. But yo, I didn't have a single song out. And I promise you, I brought out, if not the most artists of the show, like just as many as the artists that brought out the most artists of the show. They're singing my songs, and like, I'm unreleased. So people are like, how are they singing the songs and it's not released? How crazy is that? And so from there, I got like a different respect within the city. And it put me in a connection with a lot of different artists, camera, promotion, like just people. It really kind of set off Rob Linx from there on out. I had a great time, but I definitely ran out of breath towards the end of it. So performing, there's a lot, like, yo, it's not easy, bro. You gotta like, I had a performance in Atlanta. When I went for the BET Awards like 2 months ago, and bro, my whole way driving up, I got my cameraman sitting with me. I was like, I apologized to him before he got in, because he listened to me sing the same 3 songs for probably about 2-3 hours. Just like practice it, like just the instrumental of it and me singing it.
Got it.
Because I didn't know if there's different, like at shows they can just play the instrumental, you're singing, it's all you, or they can play your song in the background and like engineer you working in there. Like it's really like, I had no idea. I was going in blind, bro. So I was prepared for the worst.
And he had to hear it all these
times. To the show, and it turned out that they were gonna play my music like with me. You feel me? So I didn't, bro. I did a lot of practice for like the easiest, one of the easiest performances.
But it's better to be prepared.
Absolutely.
So if they would have switched up on you, you were ready. You would have been. So
I always over prepare compared to under prepare, for sure.
Good. So and how did it feel that time? Like, were you nervous? Like,
I was a little nervous because I went from like, that first show was in Orlando, you feel me, with like, I was nervous, but I had like my people out there, you feel me? I had like 20, 30 people. If someone booed me, they're probably getting jumped, you feel me? So now I'm in Atlanta with just my cameraman recording me. My agent, she's in the back of the room, but she knows everybody in the room. So she's got like 20 artists like trying to go up to her at a time. And so it's like
fully immersed.
You feel me? Like, she definitely, like, you feel me? But she's like busy herself. And so like, I'm really just performing to a bunch of random people, but it's and a style that they're not really used to in Atlanta, I believe. From my knowledge, there's not really a lot of like pop, rock, hybrid artists like that. It's a lot more like trap and rap music. Especially like just the artists I met and everything. And so it was like a little bit like, I don't want to say intimidating, but like, cause I was excited to go and like do something new, but it's still kind of like, oh damn, I'm really like, it's only me and my cameraman. Like, let me try and impress y'all. But it went pretty well. I met some really cool artists at the event. Shout out Don ZOP and Lady Demon, Marcus Rodriguez, A lot of people Dilla Gang is a producer. There's a lot of people just off the top of my head that I can name, but a lot of cool people.
So, you know, like I hear you shouting out some like people. Is the music industry like a small community? Is
So I would say,
you know what I'm saying? Like in my field, in the mental health, everyone knows everyone. It's a tight-knit community where everyone knows. I'm not in the music. Is it similar?
So what I would say is there's definitely, first and foremost, there's a lot that goes on in the background that you just don't even know. Parties, group, like events, like link ups. There's some stuff that I went to when I was in Atlanta that week that I didn't know like these events existed. I didn't know a lot of these people who ended up being like really like huge people, like producers, like famous, like, and I'm going up and introducing myself that like I don't know them, but the way I carry myself at events like that, and just in general, I'm just a very friendly person, and so I'm trying to connect with every artist I can. You could be like just an artist completely different lane than me. You feel me? Whether that's trap, you could be a jazz pianist for all I care, but like I'm still give you the same respect, and like we're two humans interacting. You feel me? I like to show love. I like to be a positive person, and that's what I hope my music can be, like a positive thing in the community. So me personally, I try to interact as much as I can. Now, artists can be very emotional people. I can be emotional
art,
myself.
right? So
it's an art, exactly that. That's a beautiful thing about it too. But with that being said, I feel like sometimes people may not have the best intentions, may just be focused on themselves, short fuse. Some people are overly passionate. You know, there's a lot. Artists are
they're in it for the wrong thing. They competing in the wrong way because competition is good, but you can't treat people like crap.
Though, to answer your question, I can't really say it's a small community because there's so many people. It's not just artists. It's the people setting. It's the event coordinators. It's the this reporter for TMZ. I saw someone on TMZ that I met at a Cash Doll event 2 months ago. I was like, yo, you on TMZ? That's fire. And he's in like one of my vlogs from Atlanta, just like randomly chopping it up with him. Producers, artists, managers, people who just like may want to manage an artist and have the money to go to an event like this. Like, there's so many people in those rooms.
People just think the artist, but there's a whole freaking thing behind it. Well,
that's me and my cameraman who have never been to any of these events before. You feel me? Like
man, I'm telling you,
not even him, but he's super fire. But my other,
but he was cool too.
Yeah,
I mean, he knew what
Infinite
he was
Gallery.
doing.
Shout out Infinite Gallery and shout out Caleb. Right? I want to say it's Optic Visuals. Optic Visuals. That's Caleb's. That's the one.
And that's something people don't think about. Those folks, how they're making the art come alive. Because without them, you can't. I mean, what do you do?
Dude, there's so many there's so many people working to make Rob Linx happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not just it's the most I mean, and if it doesn't take off, it's my fault. But like I need that cameraman. I need that.
They gotta be talented too in what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. I need those engineers. There's a lot to it.
Well, again, I am really proud of you, bro. I know you're gonna be big. The only thing I ask is that when you get when this album becomes the biggest album of the year, like remember me.
Absolutely, we'll be doing this interview in like a high rise or something, buddy. We'll be going crazy.
At least say the Spanish guy in that building, something. So I'm very proud of you. Anything else that you want to share before we go? What songs are out? Your links.
Love Letter EP is on the way. I probably posted a new reel sometime recently, so check me out on Instagram. Spelled just like this, Rob Linx, one word, but add an extra X at the end. By the time you get to Rob Linx, it'll probably guide you there. Anyways, Love Letter EP, social media. Thank you everyone for supporting and watching. Shout out to you, my man. I'm excited for what we got going on in the future in terms of these charity events. I can't wait till we actually figure out all the semantics and everything. So, but super excited. We got a lot of stuff coming out with that. So stay tuned for that too. It'll be on my social media. I'm sure it'll be on his as well. That's right. So we'll get it popping. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming. I do want to let you know you broke a record here.
Longest one?
The only one. I've never had a singer on everything is business, and I've never had a singer, so I was super excited today. So thank you for being here. All I gotta say is you gotta follow your dreams. Look, it works. If you're ready to fight, if you're ready to get up when the failure comes, if you're ready to understand what you are here for, you can do it. You can do it. Your dreams are possible. Keep fighting because Rob kept fighting and now he's making it. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you, my man, my man.
Love in so long.
I am